What's up guys, Wraec is here with a new video, and today with a guide for Hero Drills. Hero Drills is live at the moment. Keep in mind, very short event. For whatever reason, I don't know. It is only live for about a week. I intentionally waited for the second part of the event to start so we don't have to make too many videos about this. You can see this unlocks in 1 day 7 hours, this unlocks in 3 days 7 hours, and then 1 day later the event is already over. I don't know, so you don't really want to miss this. Keep that in mind when doing it, because the last rewards, as you can see, there are 10 temporal essence in here. You definitely don't want to miss those. But with that, let's start into this. First one we see is Parisa, very interesting hero, so I hope we get to see some stuff of her. She has some very interesting effects that we may even want to start with before we get into this. Marks the nearest enemy in a symmetrical position with the flower when the battle starts. This is something that we really want to take a look at. So she's one of those heroes that target a symmetrical hero. And then we have her second ability after every normal attacks, where she shoots the bouquet of flowers and restores herself energy. And then the very interesting thing that many people forget about her, she increases attack speed by 22 and normal attack damage for herself and one nearest ally. So that is a very potent buff hero that we have right here, and with a very interesting ability that kind of starts ramping up over time. So what this does, it marks a non-marked enemy with a flower, so that is our second marked enemy that we have here, till the battle ends, and then we deal 480% damage to all floral marked targets. You can imagine when there are multiple enemies on the board, that starts to ramp up and hit more and more enemies, so it becomes a stronger ult every single time. So that is very cool. And then we have extra energy recovery when an enemy dies. For this first one, does it set it automatically to the right spot? Yeah, it does. So it's not really too much that we need to do here. The one thing is we want to give our Parisa a little bit of time to really start this. You can already see there is the buff under the feet of Cassadee there. Pretty cool. Parisa, well, I don't want to say Flora Bell because she has a floral mark. In general, a very cool hero. One hero that was used more at the beginning of the game. She was pretty meta in like the first season. There we really got to see her. Interesting combination we get to see here now that we have them both together. We got the Tidal Strength Blessing on our Parisa, which will make her normal attacks hit quite extra potent, granting them Tidal Strength, which adds an extra 60% magic damage when we hit a blessed ally. Interesting enough, this will be attributed to Cassadee's damage, so Tidal Strength stuff always there. Kind of recommend to get her Mythic plus 10 of Cassadee. That allows her to trigger Undercurrent with Tidal Strength buffed allies, and Undercurrent is another ability of her that lifts the enemy in the air. We can see it right there. Pretty good timing. And we can see quite an easy stage so far, mainly carried by our dazzling DPS Parisa. So pretty cool. Stage number 3, just about the positioning really. Now we are away from Parisa, starting to go into Temesia. And Temesia again, a very interesting hero that, well, for some time, in the last season or second to last season, was in the Iron Teams a little bit. And we can see she has Temporal control immunity, and the thing about her is she runs between the enemies. And that is fairly cool. For this one, however, both situations or both positions will work, so there isn't really too much of a difference there. We can see either way, she will just run from one enemy to another, a little bit like Tazi in that sense, and she's fairly tanky. She can stun enemies, and after a while she even starts dealing true damage, which is really cool, and she becomes unaffected. So this is fairly nice. And something that many people tend to forget, that she can actually deal true damage, which is pretty insane. For this one, again, many different ways to do this work, which I think is quite sad. I think the intended one is actually to position her over here. The reason I have for this is, well, where do we have it? Does not perform normal attacks, instead she selects the furthest enemy and charges towards them, dealing 125 damage to all enemies in her path. And if you position her right here, first away enemy, that should be the Odie there, and if you position her here, it should be the Mr. Whisperer. And you can see those two here, they are both only legendary, while this Odie is mythic. And I think you are supposed to get rid of those two quickly, so that Temesia then only focus on Odie and can kill him off as a sole enemy a little bit faster. That is at least my theory about this, so let's see if I am correct with this. The charging direction, we can see, yeah, that is correct. She then decided that she can run to the other direction. I guess. Whatever. Honestly, I think every single one was... Oh, because she was scared by this guy. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. I mean, in theory, in that situation, the other one could have worked too. Ah, this speaks for the other one now. Because then she can't be feared anymore. This is real weird. Because then she will run between those two. I don't know if she even gets the second return. Like, once her Knight's Heart activates, she can't be frightened anymore. She can still be frightened. So it really didn't matter. That is such a weird one. Like, I thought the idea was to activate her Mythic Plus ability. Which would be pretty cool, because her Mythic Plus ability, as we saw, makes her unaffected, so she could no longer be frightened in that sense. But you have to cast Night Heart 2 times for that, and Night Heart is her ult, so she doesn't have the time to do that, which is often the case, by the way, that she doesn't have the time to do that. So yeah, this last one, I tell you as it is, doesn't make too much sense to me. Doesn't make too much sense to me. Quick start. Let's get into that. This time Cryonia over here. Fairly interesting stage we have here. And for Cryonia, the thing is, the powerful stuff is her ult. Cryonia is a hero where you really want to cast the ult, as this basically makes her near invincible for some time and is guaranteed to take out 3 enemies. So this is super powerful stuff. And we can just activate it by putting a row next to her. Her tornadoes, though, well, not to be messed with. Pretty strong. And her ult animation. Ah, great that we get to see this. And once she is in this zone, this freeze zone, she gets a big shield. And this lasts for quite a long time. So even if the enemies are immune for a little bit, for example, a Tazi or something, she will just wait with her tornadoes and defeat them then. And no other enemy is actually allowed to cast their ultimate while they are in this zone. So while she casts her ult, all other enemies are blocked from it. So you can't really be defeated by anything during that time. At least we haven't seen so yet. So this is fairly powerful. Cryonia definitely a hero where the ult shines the most. So this is something to note there. Okay, we have a lot of fire here. So I saw almost many different ways to clear this. Honestly, for me, I saw it with her in the front. For me, the way that I wanted to do this was just like this. Because, well, putting her behind the Hugin, that is kind of nice. That is really kind of nice, because Hugin has this tile behind him, where when you stand on it, you get extra attack. And that, of course, together with the Cryonia, that can be fairly powerful. And usually Hugin survives there as well, so this should be the best situation for this. As long as this guy doesn't die too early, but we can see also with those tornadoes just come from her abilities. Oh, ton of damage that you see there. And here we can see the power of her ult. Lasts quite a while, and there we go. That should have been all of those big guys, and we even get the back-to-back ult, which is insane. You can see the frozen countdown there in the top right. Also one part of it, that she can freeze the time there. It's not always to her advantage, makes the fight last super long, but it's quite interesting. Okay, Shamira now. 2-hero fight. Shamira just needs to get to her ult. I just placed the Viperian in front of her. I saw it with her behind as well. Maybe we tried with her behind. Honestly, I think both work on this one again. I don't know what they are doing there. I'm not too sure. Like, I think you need to understand what really the plan is. What the mechanic is that this stage is supposed to show you. It should not be that both work. I feel like. Yeah. I guess they kind of meant the Viperian to be like a sacrifice for Shamira to reach her ult, because Shamira, again, I kind of called her mini Cryonia in my review, is also a bit of an ult hero. While she can do very well with her normal attacks and other abilities as well, her ult, the Flying Skulls, is really what you want to see. So again, very interesting. Here it would almost be criminal, ladies and gentlemen, to not use Callan. Because Callan, very cool hero, can protect your other heroes. We'll place it together with Nero. That is pretty cool, because we get the faction bonus. Otherwise, in terms of heroes, I mean, Lucius is definitely a very nice choice. Coco's pretty cool, though I'm pretty sure once we get to cast the ult with Shamira, this fight is going to be over, and we're going to be super tanky anyway. You can see we can take all of that damage and just get energy from it for a super quick ult, which is really cool. The Nero in there, I would say, I mean, it didn't really matter for anything other than giving us, well, the defection bonus. Because in that sense, would that work with 2 heroes? Almost positive this would work with 2 heroes still. Let's try this. Did they balance it well? Ladies and gentlemen, we get to ult. Let's see. Ah, you can see. Yeah, you see it. It is completely irrelevant. I mean, should not be the case. Should not be the case. Let's be clear about this. That should not be the case, that I can do one less hero. One less hero is, well, I don't want to say a flex, but yeah. I mean, it's no longer really a challenge if you just have to kind of randomly click on Callan, I guess. So, yeah, that was it. 5 temporal essence, 30 title essence on this one for a very quick thing here. And we have another one coming, 3 days, 7 hours. Keep that in mind. And then you only have 1 day to do it. And you don't want to miss those 10 temporal essence. So I hope this video helped you a little bit with those stages. If not, then at least, well, you got to enjoy a little bit of me talking, I guess, if that was something to enjoy. Hope you enjoyed the new season. Tell me down below what you think about these hero drills. And with that, I wish you a great day. We'll see us in the next one.